Have you heard in the past decade that the economy is actually booming? But do you actually feel any richer than you did 10, 12 years ago? I know I don't. In today's video, I'm going to interview somebody that is a bona fide money expert. He is one of the world's best traders, and today he's going to share with you a couple of secrets. In this interview, you'll learn the number one mistake that 95% of people make with money. You'll also learn the dirty secret about inflation and politics. Knowing these things will help you gain an edge over the average person when it comes to growing your money and investing your money. So, hope you enjoy the video. Take a look. Hello everyone, and welcome back to YouTube. Joining me today is David Warner, who is an absolute trading legend. 12 years at FXCM, a firm that managed over $1 billion, where he won the Global Top Broker Award. Right. And prior to that, spent 6 years in the Air Force as a staff sergeant.
That's correct.
Right. Where you won the Airman of the Year Award and the Air Force Leadership Award.
That's correct, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for your service to our country, by the way.
Thank you.
And currently he is one of the top Forex teachers at Online Trading Academy, which if you haven't heard about, they're one of the best trading schools out there. So thank you for joining us today, David.
Happy to be here, man.
So first, tell me a little bit about Forex, because I think that a lot of our viewers out there are going to be very familiar with the stock market, because we hear about that a lot. We don't hear as much about the Forex market. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, if you haven't heard about it, most people haven't heard about it because it's going to be the newest market out there that people could participate in. But essentially, it's buying and selling foreign currencies, much like people buy and sell stocks. Right. The value of the dollar in your pocket right now is constantly fluctuating, and we just look to take advantage of those fluctuations against our trading partners.
Excellent. Awesome. Yeah. You've experienced how people relate to money on multiple levels, right? All the way at the highest institutional level, and now currently with just the average middle class person who signs up for classes at Online Trading Academy. So
correct, yeah.
It's fair to say you've seen how different people relate to money.
Absolutely.
What's the number one mistake that you see that they make?
I think the number one mistake that they make is a lot of people just sit on the sidelines because they're just too scared to get in. You know, but the thing about bringing something like investing into your life, you know, one of the things that we like to say is that it's an and, it's not an or. So most people that live in that 9 to 5, you know, type grind, they have one source of income coming into their lives. That's 95% of the global population out there against the 5% that write the books on this is how I got here. And there's typically kind of one common thread that is just multiple sources of income coming into your lives. It's unfortunate that, you know, that schools, you know, don't teach us about, you know, building wealth and planning for retirement. And, you know, typically that's the reason why most people, you know, sit on the sidelines. And so I think the number one mistake is just doing absolutely nothing.
A lot of people would consider like saving to be something, okay. Right? So can you talk a little bit more about the contrast between what most people do versus what you're talking about with the top 5%?
Yeah, okay, good question. First of all, if someone's just saving, you know, I understand, you know, you feel safe having money sitting in a bank, but the unfortunate fact is that money is losing purchasing power over time.
Wow.
And so they're actually being penalized to have money sitting in the bank over time. It's not always nice to have money there on a rainy day, but, you know, sometimes it doesn't make sense to have too much money in there.
How does our dollar, or how does money lose its buying power? Can you say a little bit more about that?
Well, yeah, it's through inflation. Inflation is essentially just it's a hidden tax on us. You know, it's very unpopular for politicians to, you know, tell the public that they're going to raise taxes and then get elected. So the way that it's essentially done now is they just inflate the money pool. They just make the money supply bigger, and over time. That's why you just notice things around us are always getting more expensive. The government and our Federal Reserve says it's a good thing that the purchasing power of the dollar goes down over time. They say it's a good thing that things get more expensive around us over time. We are trained to always be buying. If you don't buy a home now, you're going to pay more for it later. If you don't get into the stock market now, you're going to pay more for those stocks later. If you don't buy, land now, you're going to pay more for it later. Buy gold, buy whatever it is. It's just we're trained to understand that things are always going to get expensive over time, and that's inflation.
Gotcha. We hear on the news that the economy is good. Ever since 2008, the economy is good and everything. But I think the majority of the middle class doesn't feel any wealthier than we did 10 years ago. Why does that happen?
Because we've had interest rates at a historical low rate, and what that has done is it's fueling all these bubbles in stock prices and land prices and home prices. So when you can get money for very cheap, the people that can get it, they get it, and they're investing in these assets, stocks, real estate, things along those lines, and that's what's causing these prices just to go through the roof. And while we can say, well, listen, the economy is booming, but for the average person, they're not feeling it, and they're like, I may be even in a worse spot than what I was, because I see my rent getting more expensive every single year. I notice everything around me is getting more expensive, or it just seems my paychecks aren't buying as much as what it doesn't feel like I'm getting as much for the money that I'm spending, and that's a fact. That's true, because the money supply just keeps getting inflated, and as that happens, things just get more expensive around us.
So if I have a job and I haven't received a raise in the past few years, is it fair to say that I'm actually poorer than I was before? Then even though my salary is the same, I'm actually poorer.
It's a sad reality. Yeah, I mean, it's everything around us, we don't really see it, because inflation is something that just happens very, very slow. You spend $1 at a store today, and a year from now, whatever you bought for $1 could cost $1.03, but you wouldn't really notice that 3 cents difference, or necessarily really feel it. They have like a target rate. They would love to see inflation increase by 2% every single year. So if you're not increasing how much money you're bringing into your life by just a simple 2% a year, you're actually, it's like you're losing 2% purchasing power any year that goes on that you don't get a raise.
Even if I have the same number of dollars in my savings account every month, or every year rather, that the buying power of that is actually shrinking. Therefore, I am getting poorer and poorer every year. That's insane. That's crazy.
You could say that now.
Wow,
That's true.
That is crazy.